I'm happy I can be of service. All right, take two, clap it. What's up? Special shout outs to Yag and my sound engineers with strangers. This could have been, this is my second time doing this, so excuse me if my enthusiasm isn't where it needs to be, but that is an excuse for you not to like, share, and subscribe this, okay? All right? I came back, I doubled up. Like betting on a WNBA game, and I knew I needed to break even. I doubled up, and I need Caitlin Clark to hit 3 threes before the end of the fourth quarter. Put it all on black, baby. But we're here to talk about. So I remember distinctly saying that, if we didn't have any news to talk about, I wasn't going to do a star. I was going to first start. But just because I don't have something I want to talk about doesn't mean it's not something that should be talked about, right? Enthusiasm is key. High energy. A lot of you guys don't have that, and that's why a lot of things aren't going your way these days. Got to come to the world with enthusiasm. And it's super enthusiastic to see a situation where a game studio is being saved from the clutches of killing games. And I know that's a big mantra, a big talking point. Thor of Pirates Software has been on the brigade and pushing this idea about stop killing games. And while I haven't done a deep dive into what he's actually arguing about, knowing Thor and what he's surrounds himself around about, his whole mantra is literally go build games. It stands to reason that in a situation where we do have studios stepping up to save developers from the grips of these big mega corporations who literally take these companies in, break them for parts, and then sell them for scrap parts, it's so commendable to see a situation like that, because we have a bunch of games that were supposed to come out this year, and we'll cover that list in the second half of this story. But thanks to publishers standing up, whether it's for financial purposes, whatever it is, and whatever the case may be, us as the players, gamers, I'm going to count myself as a gamer because, talking about it, there's only two things that really matter to us: games that work and games that are fun. And when games both work and are fun, we will pay any amount. We'll pay any price. I'm literally buying a PlayStation 5 because I want to play a video game. That's not a thing that just happens in any other realm or world or category. Usually for you to have that much invested in something, you have to be guaranteed something out. Every video game player takes a chance on a video game. And when a video game studio actually makes games that are fun and cool for us to play, we have to be able to reward that. So to see that this studio is going to make it out of the fire and out of the fire and back onto the pan is super interesting. Former Xbox studio Tango Gameworks and High Five Rush have been acquired by PUBG Krafton Incorporated, saving it from closure. The TLDR on this basically is this is Microsoft's only Japanese studio. They shuttered it after the game came out, and to much acclaim, they made a game called they made a few games actually, Ghostwire and Evil Within. And those are two different spectrum games of this, but specifically High Five Rush, I did play and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great game for someone like me who doesn't play games as much. Put it on easy, 30 minutes to an hour, you get a segment of the story and you move on. But the thing I really enjoyed about this was that this was the initial battle structure that was designed for the Arkham series game. The Arkham series games, which is known for its counter and button mashing aspect of it for people who are on the lower level, but you can get into a lot of technical move sets if you're willing to take the time to know that this game almost authored that mechanics. And for all it's worth, the Arkham combat is legendary, and you'll see it everywhere. Another great game that emulated it very well was Mad Max. The Mad Max game did really good Arkham game fighting mechanics. But needless to say, they were acquired by PUBG, and PUBG is known for their battle royale system, and what better way for them to get their notoriety up in a different perspective than with a horror/combat brawler music tempo based game. So it's super cool to see that this is what they have in store for us. Tango Gameworks will live on as Microsoft has reached an agreement with the publisher Krafton to maintain the studio. Krafton Incorporated, known for games like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, has fully acquired Tango Games from Xbox, as well as the rights to the recent hit High Five Rush. So we should expect to have a second version of this game come out. That's a great thing. Krafton Incorporated today welcomed the talented people of Tango Gameworks to their team, marking the exciting movement in the company's global expansion and its first significant investment in Japanese video game market. Japan has the third biggest gaming market in the world, so this is definitely a market you want to dip your toe into, especially if you have a mindset to expand your gameplay. Japanese games are pretty off the wall and they can go in many directions, aka Stellar Blades, right? The press release reads, the strategic move will include the rights to Tango Gameworks' acclaimed IP Hi-Fi Rush. Nice. As part of the strategic agreement, Krafton intends to collaborate with Xbox and ZeniMax to ensure a smooth transition and maintain continuity in Tango Gameworks, allowing the talented team to continue developing Hi-Fi Rush IP and exploring future projects. Krafton intends to support the Tango Gameworks team to continue its commitment to innovation and delivering fresh, exciting experiences for fans. I'm not sure if they mention it here in the story, but do they keep the whole entire studio? One thing that you have to understand about these acquisitions and sellouts is they take key parts and then sell the rest of it. So they might have been able to take maybe a few execs, a producer or two, some writers off of the team and sell the remaining packages off. That isn't necessarily all it's caked up to be, and it could be detrimental to the grand scheme of things if we're not being too careful. But ultimately, the whole entire thing is safe. But the one thing you got to realize is, how do you thank, Krafton, the publishers, for doing this? Hi-Fi Rush right now on PC on Steam is $8. So if you've never played the game, what better way to show that you support it than going to go grab this on Steam now? In addition with that, I don't know what the prices are for Evil and their horror game, but both of those games, if they're on Steam, just pick it up. It has to be equal or less than this, and if a few extra dollars, you got to reward that. So if these are games if this is a studio or a game that you like and you want to show some support, what better way to get involved with that to make sure that it's all acknowledged and known, right? For Krafton to step up and give the studio a new lease on life is incredible, exciting, and dare I say uplifting. This is what I was talking about. It'll be interesting to see where it all goes from here. It's nice to get at least one happy ending in the year that has been dominated by layoffs across all entertainment and tech. Perhaps we'll get really lucky. Microsoft will let Tango Gameworks have a stab at a new entry in the evil within the franchise to someday. So, apparently, damn. Okay, so Microsoft still owns the Evil franchise, but maybe Microsoft will bring them back, because I think the Evil, I don't like horror games. I don't have the stomach for it, but I think Microsoft, who are we kidding? Microsoft's not making they're making games now, but they're not going to be they're making IPs that they know make money for them, the Halo series included. Tango wants to, of course. For now, I'm just happy that the studio will get another chance to thrive in what has become an increasingly competitive, tough industry. Hi-Fi Rush right now is $8, like I said, on Steam. But, with all this is a good ending. This is a good story, and this is a great thing. But we also have stories and situations where not everything was roses. And once again, while I'm not advocating for some of these games to come out because they could have been plagued by development issues, they could have been plagued by publisher issues, they could have been plagued by the recent strikes that are going on with motion actors and voice actors in the SAG-AFTRA situation. But what I am advocating for is we should have the ability as gamers to get games that work and games that are fun. So to know that a game like Replaced that looks fascinating, I mean, this is a 2D pixel art style, but it literally looks like a 3D rendering. This caught my eye immediately from an aesthetics on the art style. Players have been ogling Replaced since 2021 E3 debut, several delays later, and is still waiting to get their hands on a sci-fi adventure around an outlaw AI hiding in the human body. Will keep it short. Replace will not be released in 2025, the development team recently announced. So basically, you're trying to figure out which of these. There's a bunch of things that are going on, but from what I could quickly pick up on this story is there's an AI person dressed in human clothing and personnel, and you got to discern who it is. But the pixelated art style makes it so like this is just dope, right? We haven't had a new Elder Scroll in quite some time, and it'll be many years more until we get the next one. Avowed isn't a Skyrim killer, but it's the first-person fantasy RPG with an emphasis on combat. So this is for all the people who were into Elder Scrolls. That's definitely something that you would be on. Not my cup of tea, but Avowed is one of those games that won't be coming out. Avowed was supposed to come out on, such as they've moved it from August 2nd of this year to February 18th, 2025. Terminator Survivors. I've remembered this game back when they mentioned it was supposed to come out in 2022. It still hasn't come out. And this is probably a little bit more tied to like IP, as Fox, I believe, owned it. And now it's been sold off to Disney. But Disney probably doesn't want it because Disney didn't really want to do anything with the Fox's more adult content, and Terminator falls into that because Disney no longer owns Miramax, and I think Paramount made a push to grab the Terminator, but Terminator's IP is attached to games and likeness for everything, so that's why that's in development hell. Something that's super popular, Little Nightmare 3. This was supposed to come out 2024, but they've pushed this back to 2025, unknown. A lot of people really enjoyed the first and second one. I remember it getting a lot of reviews. I know people really enjoyed playing these games. Once again, not my cup of tea, but there's a mystery behind it. A bunch of nightmares, horror games. Hero doesn't fuck with it, okay? This is a game that I actually want to play because why don't they have better Transformer games? Transformer on the PlayStation 3 when it first came out from the Michael Bay movies was probably one of the best games ever. But for some strange reason, and this is something that should be a no-brainer, literally being able to press a button that lets you, that's all I did in the game, was hit triangle because it lets you transform in and out of your robot form. But for some strange reason, like the Marvel Avenger game, they have fumbled this series. There's no way in hell you mean to tell me a humanoid robot car that shoots guns and everything you haven't figured out a way to put that into a GTA map and let me have. How did GTA mods make Optimus Prime more fun than a real Transformer game? And most of these Transformer games suffer from the same thing the movies suffer from. You keep talking about the humans. I don't want to watch a movie about a 30-foot tall robot and have the story be focused on a horny dude in his car. Let me talk to the robots. This is supposed to come out in 2023. I remember when I saw this. It's not going to be, they don't even know if it's going to be released in 2025. This is disappointing. The Division Resurgence is the name of this on its own is kind of like telling you guys want to be Call of Duty so bad. Resurgence is one of the more popular Warzone battle things, is basically what this is. I don't know. The Division got a lot of false hype that I didn't believe was warranted. When the first Division came out, remember how hyped they were because the player walked past the door and he closed the door, and everyone just thought that was the coolest thing. And for the life of me, even back then when I thought games cool, I literally said I refused to play this game because they was glazing this game like it was actually like the mechanics of a door being closed. Remember, two things. Does it work? Is it fun? And I don't remember the Division being very fun. It might have looked cool, but it didn't play cool. 2025, Ubisoft. I'll probably check it out. And I think it's the mobile, and Ubisoft really has pushed for mobile like games. A lot of mobile games. And Novelist, I don't know what this is. I'm not even gonna cap. Lands released in Cloudpunk in 2020. A lovely cyberpunk adventure about a flying car taxi driver who gets embroiled in a missing girl investigation in city politics. Nevertheless, is a studio's next game, an ambitious life sim that mixes the art and vibe of the first game with the social interactions and comforting routines of Animal Crossing. Unfortunately, it won't be out. It won't be available to make till 2024 cutoff. Navila will launch spring 2025. So, I mean, there's a crowd for this. If you think gritty crime mystery with a little bit of Animal Crossing while you're a taxi driver, hey, clap it up. More power to you. I'm not here to judge you for your likes and your dislikes. But yeah, those were a few games that were supposed to come out that didn't make it out. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's up to people like you and me to support these games that do come out. When we do see games we like, we should go out and support them. We should try our best to make sure we support the video games that want it. And this is something that I'm trying to commit to. Every weekend for the past 2 weeks I've been playing video games on this channel on Saturday. Come watch me get wrecked in Call of Duty. But ultimately, we have to be able to find more games to play. And gaming with strangers is a thing for me, but let me know what games you're playing. Give me some suggestions. What is a game that needs more love? Put it in the comment section below. If you made it this far, I would love to know what type of games you guys are into. Maybe we could do a play along. You never know. Clap it. Shout out to Yag again for helping me fix my audio issues. Doing this the second time, I feel like the second version was definitely better. Like, share, subscribe.